listen.
We talked a lot about the console itself, but now I kind of want to get into the games.
Okay.
So let's talk about some of the best Nintendo Switch games for the first year. So let's take a look at the top-selling first-party Switch games for year one. I also have a nice little neat graph that I put together for
you're
that.
like Graph Master.
I'm a numbers guy, so cool. But yeah, so while we get that graph pulled up, obviously Mario Odyssey was the top-selling game globally with 9.07 million, and then under that, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Zelda Breath of the Wild, Splatoon, and 1-2 Switch. So what's noteworthy here is that more than 60% of Switch owners actually have Mario Odyssey, and over 55% have Zelda Breath of the Wild. Those are massive attachment rates.
More noteworthy is that 40% of them don't. So like, what?
What are you playing?
What's going on
over there?
1-2 Switch fans, man. But the other notable thing is like everybody has at least 2 copies of Mario Kart 8 by now.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
Like, look at those sales! More than 7 million units of 8 Deluxe sold for the Switch.
Some of us even bought 2 copies of Zelda at launch. Remember that?
Some of us did.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Who would do such a thing?
And I don't want to leave the third parties out of this conversation either. I don't have a fancy graph for that, but I can tell you that the top 3 third-party selling games for Switch this year, for the first year of Switch, were Kingdom Battle with 1.4 million, FIFA with 550,000, and Pokken Tournament with 1.07 million.
And those are just games that got retail box copies, right? Like we actually don't have all the numbers on stuff like Stardew Valley, Minecraft, which I imagine. I would guess did hit like the 750K mark for some
I
of
see
those.
Overcooked in the top 10 every day.
Yeah.
Like those,
Yeah.
it's gonna add up in the end.
I will guarantee Overcooked Stardew Valley will crack 1 million on Switch digitally, which is incredible.
No, it's awesome. But yeah, that's obviously for Mario plus Rabbids. It's great. This is now a 1 million selling franchise. It obviously has the power of the Mario franchise pushing it because I don't think Rabbids games were doing that well in the end anymore.
I think
Right.
the biggest story out of this too is that Nintendo will probably start trusting third-party developers more to sort of open up their portfolio a little
Well,
bit.
certainly this one, huh?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I imagine this team will be working on Mario games for a long time, which they're probably very happy about.
I feel like I still meet Switch owners who have not played this game, and it's confounding to me. Like it is a really good game.
To a casual player, this game must look like some sort of insane.
It looks like
fever
Front
dream.
Mission.
You know what I mean?
or-
Like,
Yeah.
It's not even. It's
Tactics
not even
Ogre,
that. It's
yeah.
not even that. It's the strategy element that turns people off. I feel like, but it's like if you bought the Switch and because you saw a new Mario game and you loved Mario 64 or Mario Sunshine when you were a kid, to see something like this. People hopping around, shooting like honey buckets at people and like stomping on big rabbits. Like, it's weird, man. It's so weird. I think it's a tough sell to a casual demographic, but it's such an awesome game that it deserves every one of those sales.
It's actually not complicated either. It's a very simple game and it's set up. It's actually pretty forgiving until you hit the challenge levels. But yeah, great success, man.
Great success.
So I want to bring a little bit of attention to probably some games that we like, some games that we definitely like, but games that you might have missed. So I went around before the show started and I made sure everyone picked a game. So I want to start over with Pear and ask you, Pear, what do you think is an amazing game on Switch that a lot of people may have missed out on?
There are obviously there are a bunch of really obvious games like the Steam Worlds and all that we've talked about at length. Picross S I keep on going back to, but the one I just played it last night again. the one game that I really think is overlooked a bit is Puyo Puyo Tetris.
Okay.
And so combining the classic Compile used to make the Puyo Puyo games back in the days. Combining that one puzzle game with Tetris and actually having you play asymmetrically against your friends. Like if you happen to be better at one game than the other, you can choose that. Or you can have the 2 modes mixed. Or you can have all these crazy party modes that drop junk on you and crazy disruptive little powers. Just a really fun game to play multiplayer up to 4 people. Great in just straight up versus, and it has a good single player mode with a complete nonsense story too.
Just stay away from the online if you don't want to get your butt kicked.
Yeah, I was gonna say it should be
People
mentioned.
get really good.
It should be mentioned that Pear is very good at Puyo Puyo Tetris.
But not, I mean, online, there's a whole different breed of people who, like, the people who didn't buy Mario and Zelda, that's all they're playing, man.
This is also one of the best local multiplayer games on Switch. I think it totally exemplifies the kind of mission statement of what this system's out to do. Like, 2 people sitting next to each other on a flight can play this with each other and fully understand what's going on. You don't feel like you're too far. Like Mario Kart, I think gets a little squished. This just looks gorgeous, and the music and sound is great too.
This is the Karen party game. This is the game that you can take to any party. Everybody understands Tetris. It's so simple to play. You don't need to hear the audio. Like 1-2 Switch did not work as a party game because you can't hear anything.
Right.
This one
that's a good
always
point.
works and works everywhere.
This is why people call Karen.
Yeah.
And tell her to come to the party.
If you're looking for a fun Switch game to play with like your family, your mom, or your dad, your girlfriend, whatever, like this is it, definitely.
And if you're looking for Karen, she's probably on the roof.
She is.
Yeah.
Brian, what's your pick?
I think I put like 5 games on that list, didn't I?
Always.
You did, yeah.
So one of the ones I wanted to give a shout out to, which I think does another great job of local multiplayer, is Death Squared. That is a sort of like top-down puzzle game where you each get a sort of 3D isometric cube, and you have to navigate around levels using like cooperative sort of skills to stack on top of each other and push each other around and open up gates and doors to get to the end. And you die a lot and you get to customize your cube, and it's like the kind of thing where most people would be like, this doesn't sound good, it doesn't look good, but it's the kind of thing where I totally latched onto it and really, really enjoyed it. And there's a ton of stuff in there and it's pretty cheap. I also really like the game Wolverblade, which we talked about on the show.
Yeah.
That's an awesome one. Sort of historical-based, side-scrolling fighting game, kind of beat 'em up-ish, super violent and bloody. I really dig it. Slime's on, great game.
You
They just
got
patched that with a whole
Floor
bunch of
Kids
other
you had
stuff.
on the list too.
Floor
right?
Kids is awesome. It's a sort of it's a rhythm game where you don't really get punished for screwing up. Music by Kid Koala, like I really dig it. Yeah, really cool
Nice.
stuff.
I
Philip,
think that's Floor Kids
everyone
right here.
choose one game. Brian, here's 4.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You had Floor Kids, which we're seeing here, really cool art style. But you also, I think, you had one on your list that I was going to pick. That was Blossom Tales.
Blossom Tales.
Yeah, you had
Yeah.
that on
That's
your list
the
as well.
that's the Link to the Past.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, just look at Floor Kids. It is gorgeous. It's it's got this sort of like freestyle mode to it. It probably has my favorite soundtrack of any game on Switch. Like they're all
Yeah,
just
it's a
90s
really
break
good
beats.
soundtrack.
It's just dope. I just love it. It's really cool. It reminds me of like living back in New York City and seeing this kind of stuff out in the wild.
When you lived in New York City, did you also like have some cardboard and were you a floor kid?
I did not. I was more of a tag the walls kind of guy.
Okay.
But I had friends at breakdance, and you couldn't wait for a train for a while without seeing that kind of stuff down there. So yeah,
Cool.
It's cool. Check it out.
What about you, Zach?
So I was actually kind of surprised to learn how few people actually got an opportunity to play this game. But my choice is the Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
That's
No, actually, I chose. My pick is Battle Chef Brigade.
Nice.
I think that Battle Chef Brigade is a very charming, very unique, very small, sort of like goofy game.
Improbable game.
Yeah, I mean, it's made by 3 people. It's this gorgeous hand-drawn art style, and it mixes this like blend of platforming and match 3 and puzzles, and like I just really enjoyed it. I reviewed it for IGN, and I was totally surprised by it. Like for a game that I assumed would be sort of a pop in, play it, and get an opinion of it. Like I spent a lot of time with Battle Chef Brigade, even post review. So.
It's one of those games where if you write down the elements, like cooking, puzzle, adventure, all that, you can't figure out what it's going to be like.
Yeah.
When you play it, you're like, oh, you hunt your ingredients and then you do a puzzle game to cook the food. Like it's such a weird setup, but it's incredibly fun. And,
There's like
great
this.
sense of humor.
There's this sort of like underlying risk-reward kind of thing too, because in the later stages you can fight. In the hunt sections, you can fight these giant monsters that will drop more rare ingredients that make the cooking easier, but also takes a lot more time to beat, so you have less time to cook. And it's like it's sort of this like back and forth. Like, well, do I hunt the big monster to get the best ingredients, or do I hunt a lot of little monsters and make something
Right.
elaborate? Like, it's a really cool game.
Also lots of Iron Chef references.
Lots of Iron Chef references. Yeah,
Yeah.
lots
Nice.
of cool characters too.
yeah.
Great character design and good writing.
Nice, very cool. Well, my pick is actually a newer game that came out not too long ago, actually this week.
Oh, minutes
Oh.
ago.
Yes, minutes ago, literally. My pick is Mulaka, which is a game that I initially wasn't too sure about, but it really quickly actually grew on me. So this is made by an indie developer. It's actually one of the Nindy games. The developer is called Lienzo, and they're from the northern part of Mexico, and actually Chihuahua, Mexico, which is really interesting. There aren't a lot of game developers making games for Switch over there. So yeah, Mulaka is it's kind of a callback to older like AA games, like from like Jack and Dexter or something
Or
like
the
that.
THQ era.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. So it's really fun. It's a little bit on the shorter side, but I think it's perfectly priced. It's like a $20 game. And you get just a great experience out of it. The animations, I will say, are a little strange.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a very cool game because it ties in like ancient legends and true or actual myths and stuff like that from a culture called the Tamaharama. Or wow, I'm totally butchering that name. Tamaharama, I think.
It's pronounced Garuk.
Yes, it's pronounced Garuk, but they're actually native people of Chihuahua, Mexico, and this game totally like tells their story, their legends, their myths. It's very, very cool. It's got some fun boss battles in it.
Oh, and you can turn into a bird.
Yeah, you
That's
can
nice
turn
too.
into animals and stuff like that. I definitely recommend checking this out. It's totally a single-player game, has a great story. The combat is probably the weakest part of this game.
Yeah.
It's a little loose, right? Like I haven't played that much of it yet, but it feels a little floaty, the control in combat.
Exactly, yeah. But it's got some great exploration elements to it. It's got some really interesting puzzles too. So definitely, if you're looking for a nice, short, quick game to get through and have a great time with, Mulaka is hands down the game you should pick up. So,
Nice.
All right.
yeah.
I mean, like the fact that some of us limited themselves to one game, but you could pick about 10 games that aren't talked about a lot and are actually really quality
Yeah, we should
titles.
probably do that list eventually.
Yeah.
Philip,
We'll gotta do that again.
specifically forbade me to mention SteamWorld Dig 2 on this
Well,
list.
that's too common.
I think it's
That's too known and obviously a must-have game.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. I feel like a lot of people picked that one up.
Yeah, there you go.
There
It's
it
so
is.
good. I kind of feel I want to erase my memory
And go back and play it
go
again.
back and play
Me
it.
too.
I'm playing the first one again. So
Look,
that's a little bit more distant.
If you haven't played SteamWorld Dig 2 yet, this is the day you should definitely pick
Yes.
it
Yeah,
up.
Stop,
It is,
stop messing around.
yes, it is a fantastic game. If you like,
Give yourself a little birthday present.
Yeah.
You know?
No matter what time of year it is.
Yeah.
Give yourself somebody else's birthday present.
The Switch's
It's not your
birthday present.
right.
For
There you
the
go.
price of 2 Happy Meals.
I
you
still
can play
maintain that
game.
this was a better Metroid game than the Metroid game that launched within the same 2 weeks
Same.
of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.